and might get a cleanup on these archers. However, the knights are still in the base, still doing a lot of raiding. And there we go, TheMax able to really overwhelm here. Maybe this is their shot at this game. Hello everyone, my name is Nobody. I'm joined by Dem Red Eyes, and this is Game 3 in the Nomad Battlegrounds tournament. This is a $1,500 tournament. Semifinals, as we mentioned, and the players are TheMax and Villese versus CL and Tim. We'll introduce the players as they place down their town centers. Over in the bottom right, we have TheMax playing as the Malians. And in orange, we have, here we are, we have Villese playing as Italians. These civilizations were set by the rules of this tournament, and you can introduce the frantic team.
Tim and Gray, over there on the left-hand side. With the... Italians. There we go.
So often in Nomad we see this kind of formation where we have the you know, one player kind of sandwiched in between the other two players and one player kind of on their own, and that's the situation we have for the Finnish team, as TheMax is down by himself over in the bottom of the map, and Villese is sandwiched between his two opponents in the north of the map. Based on these civilizations, how do you think this is going to play out?
Well, to be honest, I'm a fan of the Malians. They're really strong, they're really versatile, really dynamic. They have a lot of possibilities to go for a lot of things there. The infantry is strong, the cavalry is strong, and combined with the Italians, not very sure about the Italians. I mean, to be honest, I've seen Italians most of the times only on arena, and then they usually go for some, I don't know, some archers or even some smush over there. So I see the Malians being the more aggressive part there, especially for the early and the mid game. And yeah, but as you said it all as well, the positioning in Nomad is really important. And let's see first of all how Villese will actually get out of the situation.
Yeah, he's got to survive against 2 versus 1, most likely in this game. We'll have to see how it plays out. But, as you were saying, not a lot of love for the Italians here. I talked to Ornlu last game, and he made a pretty strong argument for the Italians. Basically, with the Italians, their fishing is going to cost less, since their fishing ships cost less, and they're able to advance the next age a lot quicker, which can be great for galley wars also. And a little bit of a versatile tech tree. So they're certainly very strong, and also the Malians super strong. Them and the Persians are able to get their dock up right away because they save all that extra wood on their town center and dock. So they're a very strong civilization as well. One thing to keep in mind, Italians, they get a little bit of condottiere team bonus. Maybe they can combine it with the Malians Pierce Armor bonus and make a dream unit.
Well, that would be insane, right? Condos like that with those upgrades, yeah, that would be cool to see that. Maybe, I mean, if we go till there, like I said, I'm not very optimistic concerning Villese positioning there, so I'm not even sure if he's going to get out of there and survive all of this in the next couple of minutes, but we'll see.
One interesting thing, TheMax and Villese have their docks right next to each other. It looks like perhaps maybe TheMax... No, he's just scouting around with the back right villager. Maybe he's going to place a dock in the back right there as well. So they have their docks in the middle as well. So, you know, either way, they're in the middle of both players, whether it's water control or on the land. Let's take a look at how the players are doing as far as resources. I'm going to look at Tim right now. Tim has decent amount of food, good wood, and stone and gold are a little bit far away. And, sorry, 1 second. Stupid Windows update. And looking at his ally, CL has decent food, stone, gold a little bit farther away. You want to take a look at the Finnish team?
Yeah, let's see. So TheMax over there, he has, you know, it's okay if we look at this. There's a lot of there are a couple of sheep. There's deer and whatnot. The gold is fine. The wood is fine. I like the positioning over there. Still, unfortunately, no boars over there, so that's one thing. But the deer should be fine enough there. And if you look at the Villese map there, actually, it's okay concerning the fact that the resources are quite close. There's some good wood, of course. The berries over there, the sheep are there, some stone. Not very happy about the position of the gold over there. It's quite far away. It's really exposed, really close to CL's base there. So it's not the safest gold at all. Therefore, yeah, like I said at the beginning, Villese is in a lot of trouble for many reasons there.
I would completely agree with the gold is going to be easily contested by either player, no matter what gold that Villese decides to take. It looks like he's going to start to take the bottom gold, and that is extremely close to Tim. Tim once again walling off with part of his enemy's wall, which is never a good thing. So did he just forget that that's his enemy's house? What? Oh yeah. Villese clicking up to the next age, CL clicking up to the next age, and with that we should see a little bit of a feudal galley war here, or fire galley war.
Yeah, that's true, that's true. Those are quite some early feudal ages there, and we see that Max and Tim, they're still in Dark Age, so probably they will be the ones going for the Castle Age there. If you look at the civs, Tim being the Italian and the Max being the Malian, so these are two different kinds of approaches.
Oh, this is funny. This is funny. Villese is flaring his ally that Tim did not properly close his wall. So he's well aware of this. Tim has no idea, and I wonder if they're going to make use out of that later on in this game.
Could be a possible thing to do, right?
Yeah.
Could be a bad surprise.
So here comes the Galley Wars. TheMax is the last player to click up to the next age and may have enough resources for a fast castle. He's got a few more minutes, so it looks like he will have enough resources. And I'm guessing here Tim will also, yeah, Tim will definitely also go for a fast castle, walling himself in. So we'll see the Malians player and the Italians player both going for fast castles. A little bit different as far as the civilizations go. What's really important right now is see how these early water battles go.
Yeah, it will be really crucial. But I'm looking forward to seeing what's going to happen here in the Castle Age, because those are completely different approaches there. With the Italians, you can expect something else than for the Malians. So
this is not good at all for Villese. A tower definitely going to go up for a CL. He's got some scouts coming out as well. What are towers great at? Towers are great at securing resources and obtaining map control. And what does Villese not have? Villese does not have safe resources. Villese does not have a lot of space to go for other resources.
Yeah, that's a huge disadvantage over there. Oh, there we go. I mean, it's a really good decision to go up with the towers in this case, because, yeah, Villese has nowhere to go. There are no options anymore.
Absolutely, it's a great strategy from CL. And Villese not even building a counter tower right now. Going to lose that stone immediately as the second tower comes up very quickly from CL. As well, CL able to somehow make scouts as well. I mean, this is some of the strength of the Malians, is that they've got so much resources to play with now that they can make scouts as well. Sneaky tower, though, from Villese coming up onto CL's stone, so that'll delay the next tower for CL, as he has to migrate all the way across the map for a new stone.
Oh, wow.
And this is going to be interesting, as scouts come in on the left of that stone. Might be able to pick off a few villagers. Slow reaction from Villese. Going to move back for now, but we have villagers coming in from CL. I wouldn't be surprised to see Villese lose the stone and even a few villagers in the process.
Yep, that's totally gonna happen.
And here comes those villagers from CL. And with that, Villese is going to have to run away. CL going to trap off one of those villagers a little bit. Going to be very close, but that town center doesn't have a lot of villagers in it. And down it goes. Luckily, Villese does have barracks. We'll be able to pump out some spearmen. And if I was Villese, I would just, as much as you can, pump out spearmen for days to try to secure that stone, but no, it's not going to work. There's a tower already coming up on the stone.
Unfortunately, it's done for him.
Over in the north, we did mention that water battle. The Max losing a lot of his fish to the fire galleys of Tim, and Villese, I don't see any fish left for him, so no food for him as well. And no food left for CL, so the only player fishing right now is the Max, and a little bit from Tim in the bottom.
Alright, the Max has reached Castle Age. That's good for him. And let's see, he has a stable up there. And maybe he puts up a second stable there. Maybe he goes for the Knights. Malian Knights, they're quite good. But let's see. Also,
How I'm reading into this a little bit is that Tim has decided to go for a early archer range and defend his water. Meanwhile, TheMax has lost his water, and by saving those resources, able to go for an early knight and early castle age. Got a siege workshop up already, so I think that's mostly in defense. Maybe planning on attacking Tim.
Most likely, you're right.
Man, Villese is in a world of hurt, though. He's really hurting for food. Won't be able to make some villagers for a little bit of time here, as his fishing ships are not working properly. Or, they're not alive. That explains why they're not working properly. Yeah. So Villese will fall behind a little bit in the villager count. Looks like we'll try to support his ally siege here, though, with some spearmen.
Even though I'm kind of surprised that Villese managed to get this gold over there, that he walled there in the south of his TC. Just another tower would have denied this one as well, but good for him.
The theme of this game, full aggression. Oh no, TheMax losing a Mangonel to 3 scouts as the knight is just on standby watching the poor Mangonel go down. And that's a little bit of a setback for TheMax. The theme of this game looks to be like all-out aggression. The Villese is completely exposed everywhere, so TheMax needs to go full aggressive here. And still Tim not up to the next age, surprisingly. So it'll be a little bit of time before he's able to get up. But it's up to CL. CL now needs to defend from knights.
Yeah, and the knights, they already have +1. That's good. I always like to see the defensive text for knights. Better than nothing. Still, I'm not sure if the numbers are enough. I mean, there's some kind of raiding going on, but just 2 knights so far that they see. Let's see if he's gonna pump up more.
Yeah, and Villese even having some archers, being able to take down the spearmen. Great teamwork here. Even though Villese is really hurting as far as economy is concerned, still able to make a good contribution. No siege play quite yet. CL picking off yet another villager of Villese. A lot of his resources are exposed. So both players trying to do as much damage as possible. Finally, Tim is up to the next age, aided by that Italian's bonus and the fishing he has. So he'll have a decent economy when he gets up to the next age, and we'll have to see what he does. Double stable for him.
Double stable, always a good sign. Always a good sign for knights.
Meanwhile, though, TheMax going 3 town centers. He's had a little bit of time since these players have not been quick up to the next age. And the Villese has been doing such a great job at defending himself with his archers. So this should be a little bit of advantage for the Finnish team. However, they will have to defend the early knights of Tim. Tim is probably going to have a lot of resources banked from going up to the next age.
Yeah, it's certainly really impressive that Villese is still there and not GG'd already. And with this income of resources, it's actually the wisest choice to go for archers, because he has the gold and he has the wood, but not too much of food. So actually a good choice there.
Alright, here we go. Tim up to the next age. Double stable knights, has tons of resources for days. And we'll see if he drops an extra town center or maybe drops a monastery and a siege workshop to get even more aggressive. Look at this! TheMax transporting over 2 knights to be able to do some raiding. Might be able to pick off a few villagers. However, the knights will be out from Tim. Nice quick walls, so this landing in this transport gets style points, but it's not going to get a lot of villager kills. We have Villese making wheelbarrow now. TheMax researching foraging for a little more damage. TheMax is now on 3 town centers. And should be able to either go imp or add more stables. Which do you think is a better decision for him?
Come again, please?
Do you think it's better for TheMax to go Imperial Age with all the economy he's built, or to add more stables?
Well, that's a good question, because those are 2 different philosophies, right? If you go for the stables, that means that you want to stay in Castle Age, obviously, and you want to try to finish off those enemies as soon as possible. But if you go for imp, it's certainly going for the late game, even though that would be also a good option for TheMax, because, you know, as Malians you get Farimba and Imperial, right?
This is awesome. You see this little village that Villese has made in his base? Look at this little village with this palisade wall. A little relic there. That is crazy. That is amazing. This is like
beautiful.
This is the beauty of when newer players play the game. They always make the prettiest villages. And that's really something we lose in high-level play, unfortunately. But Villese bringing that back. Going to lose a few of these villagers, though. Would have been nice to put a palisade gate there, but I guess he didn't like the look of the palisade gate as the knights come storming in.
True.
Oh god, Villese is losing so much here. He's played so well this game, and this little mistake, losing a lot of villagers. Luckily, he is up to Castle Age, but so is CL. This raid is really evening up the game, as Villese is only on 27 villagers now. This is a huge advantage for the Frantic team.
Yeah, and they paused the game just for a second there.
Knights able to clean up the archers. More archers coming in from CL. Where is TheMax? Where in the world is he?
Yeah, good question. I mean, he's there now. Okay, way too late, unfortunately. Even though Villese did well to fight off those enemy knights there, still way too late.
I can't really understate how devastating this raid was for Villese. Villese is on 23 villagers only. 23 villagers. Their whole team up to 95 villagers. The other team, well, really, not too much difference there. 95 villagers. So, you know, maybe TheMax's boom has been justified here, even though Villese has taken a lot of damage. What do you think?
Yeah, actually, I'm not very convinced of this one. I mean, considering numbers, yes, it's kind of equal, but Villese is really, really far back because he's alive, but he wasted so many villagers over there, and that will cost him a lot of impact in the game later on because he will need a lot of time to come back from this, and he can be harassed even easier now because he has so little numbers of villagers there, and defense, not to talk of defense, there's nothing that he can do. He's really vulnerable at the moment.
I'm still so sad that that colony in the middle of the map is completely unused now. It's like it's a dead village. No one go there. It's like a graveyard now. But TheMax coming in with some knights. Maybe we'll be able to pick off these crossbows of CL. TheMax needs to do some good damage here, as the villager numbers of CL and Tim should run away. Remember, even though the villager numbers were even a few minutes ago, they still have way more town centers at this stage. I haven't shown it to you, but here they are. And it looks like these knights going to trap down these archers a bit. One monk, two monks coming out from Italians. Sorry, from Tim. And will this be enough to take this fight? It looks like it will be enough.
Yeah, definitely, definitely. He's retreating.
And castle now for Tim on that hill. That will be a direct threat to TheMax. Help secure 2 golds on top of the hill. Awesome castle from Tim, if he's able to get this one up.
Also, castle coming from Villese now because he sees the siege coming there from. Oh,
that's great news. That's great news for Villese.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay, with that castle, we'll be able to help defend himself a little bit. Knights coming in. Let's see if he can get the walls in this time. Looks like he'll be safe for this time, as there's a little bit of a hole here still. Might lose the mangonel if he doesn't wall that off. But still, even with that castle, the knights are still able to do so much raiding because of the way Villese's base is. That town center really not well protected. Villese still below 30 villagers.
Awful. Okay, the castle is up.
At the very least, Villese can add some Genoese crossbowmen now, which should be effective against Tim's army composition. But that said, castle going up from Tim, and yeah, we'll see when the players decide to go up to Imperial Age and how much they decide to invest in knights. Now Tim, with that castle up, with the assistance of CL and his +1 crossbows, going to move out to raid on the bottom right side. And someone's saying, can TheMax carry this game? I'm not so sure. Tim going to move in the right. Luckily, it's walled here, so should be okay. TheMax also has access to Camel, which is one nice advantage for him, so he can catch up a little bit if this is a knight-on-knight war.
And he is advancing to Imperial Age at the moment. That's good for him. And CL certainly going for some archer action there, some shenanigans over there, as he got some botgun arrow. Not sure what his plan is exactly.
Never a good sign when knights start to batter down your town center and you're powerless to stop it. Yet another castle coming from Tim. in another good position. It helps lock down yet another gold, another stone, another 2 stones, and take out the town center of the map. And one of the themes for this series is how important map control is on Nomad. And oh wait, yep. Castle getting denied in the north from CL. Forget about what I was saying. We have a doubt castle in, and looks like the knight's not going to go straight for the town center in the bottom right. Imperial Age coming from Tim. Imperial Age almost done from the Max. The Max should look to tech into Cavalier with Verema. Doesn't have yet his castle up, and sorely lacking behind on the numbers. Meanwhile, Tim...
And also...
What is it?
I was going to say that Tim is actually trying to get into his base. And there's also a castle being dropped in front of his base, in front of the base of the Max. So he's in trouble now.
Yeah, third castle coming up from Tim. Going to be able to attack the town center. Also, third castle gives you the option of going Genoese crossbowmen, which will be very effective against cavalry. The Malians, maybe they can go like champions to counter out the Genoese crossbowmen, but otherwise can't really go anything else. Champions would be very hard for the Max to do with the way his economy is looking at this stage.
That's for sure. Okay, now we see it. The Max going for camels as well, as he sees the huge army of Tim approaching. But now that the castle is over there, it's gonna be a bit problematic for him in order to get out of the situation again. But luckily he is in Imperial Age. Unfortunately, no castle yet, so he will have a tough time beating this castle in front of his base.
Yeah, if the Max had a single castle, it would certainly buy him a lot of time, but no castle for him. Going to tech into Camel, a lot of the cavalry upgrades, and hope in the long term that condottiers can do enough damage against Genoese crossbowmen. I'm not... How convinced are you of that matchup?
I mean, how convinced of this matchup that...
like Genoese crossbowmen versus condottier. Do you think condottier are a legitimate option here?
I'm honest. I'm dead honest. I'm not even sure if the condottiers will be good against them. To be honest, I doubt that.
Right now they're up to 5 pierce armor. That is, I think they go up to either... Let me do my math. +7 maybe? +7 pierce armor? Yeah, there we go. +7 done. So they'll be very effective against the archer type units with the Malian team bonus. However, it really depends on that meat shield in front. This can be an effective combination for the Finnish team. And here's the biggest engagement of the game. Notable that none of these cavalry units have the +4 armor in. Instead, the +4 infantry armor was researched. Infantry coming in quite late as all the cavalry goes down from the Max, and might get a cleanup on these archers. However, the knights are still in the base, still doing a lot of raiding. And there we go, the Max able to really overwhelm here. Maybe this is their shot at this game. Maybe Genoese crossbowmen was not the best choice. Genoese crossbowmen notably take forever to build en masse.
That's for sure. I mean, I've expected some more Genoese crossbowmen over there, then it would have been a bit different, but the numbers of the condottiers are so significant, they are able to strike back there.
Oh my gosh, are we watching a comeback right now? As these condottiers really clean up the house. Maybe Tim should take note of this and make condottier of his own or something else. He's getting completely overrun, and these castles could potentially go down.
Probably will.
Castle coming up from Tim, as could inflict even more damage onto Villese. Villese is just a pillow for punching, or whatever you punch, I suppose. I don't have the greatest catchphrases in the world. I'm not Killer Bee. So he's going to add another castle. This is up to what, 5 castles now, and you know, maybe it's a little bit of a wasted investment to invest so much into castles when you don't really have the strongest army out.
That's for sure. I mean, especially if you don't do anything with castles as an unit production, just to save some, you know, zones there. As you said, it won't be effective if you don't have your own army over there. So, doesn't look good at all. It seems to be that Max is having his comeback there for his team. Really impressive.
Never a good sign when you're prioritizing murder holes as one of the most important techs you're researching right now. But yeah, Tim adding some barracks. He's learned his lesson. Going to make condottiers of his own, and honestly, champions might be good as well. but Condottiero is going to be the unit choice. Notably, though, these are Italian Condottieros. These are not Malian Condottieros. Yeah. Funny enough, the Italians don't have the strongest Condottieros in the game.
That sounds weird, but it's true.
And I do want to check just the Max's gold income. That raid was so huge for him because he gets to obtain more gold. I'm guessing he's hurting quite a bit on it, not mining too much. And mining a little bit in the south, but regardless should have more access to gold now. Let's see if Tim is able to push this back. Tim, 120 villagers. TheMax also 120 villagers, so they're pretty even here.
Yep.
And men-at-arms being researched from TheMax, so just going to go full champion transition. There's really no more reason to go into Condottiero unless Gunpowder decides to make it onto the field, in which case you can still add Condottiero later. But Condottiero, they were just easier to get out because they don't require the men-at-arms, the longswordsman upgrade, but once the champion upgrade comes in for TheMax, should be even a stronger unit to make.
That's for sure, especially as Malians.
Meanwhile, Villese has lost his original town center, losing 2 castles. Tim, luckily this trebuchet is well defended between its other castles, so Villese will have to migrate quite a bit. So many castles in this game. I don't think I've seen a game with this many castles from such few players.
That's true as well, a lot of castles.
What is it? We've seen like at least 10 this game. And Villese basically has no economy, has no military, has no space to run. He desperately needs to go south and rendezvous with TheMax. I think CL is patrolling a little bit with some crossbows. Luckily, these villagers will get out. Nope, never mind. CL is probably going to see them.
Was that a bug in the overlay? It said that Tim sold about 20,000 wood. That was a bug, right?
I have no clue.
Oh my god.
And kind of a small big mistake from CL, not seeing any of those villagers come by. Maybe that'll bite him later on in the game if Villese is able to have an impact on this game. That could have been half of Villese's villagers gone from those crossbows, but just not being able to see that. Villese more vills than CL. Oh, I am blind. CL apparently has been... What the hell happened to CL? Why is he doing so poorly? Probably from the raids of TheMax, right?
Yeah, seems like it, to be honest. I mean, I've seen TheMax coming from the east over there. And yeah, he's in already. Wow. Insane. Yeah,
so this raid is absolutely devastating. It's showing really the power of Malians Condottiero. Beware if you ever have this combination of Malians and Italians. These Condottiero are strong. Really strong. And I don't know, is CL going to be able to come back from this? Luckily, he's got 2 castles in his base, making Gabito. I feel like he'll be able to survive.
Yeah, it's the question, who will be strong in the end? Is it Tim or TheMax? And at the moment, TheMax has this pushback of his life. You know, he is now attempting to enter his base, Tim's base. And once he's done that, I don't see too much of Tim to protect himself against this one.
Champions fully upgraded now, at least for the Malians. And basically, Champions less effective at raiding, but they should be more effective at going in through the front. One thing we have not seen from TheMax is a lot of siege, so he's having a little bit of trouble getting through these walls. We'll see if Tim is able to defend once these units are in. And oh no! TheMax building a ton of barracks into Tim's base. This might be GG if these barracks go up.
Yeah.
And here we go, barracks coming up. Tim only realizing now. Looks like Tim is going into light cavalry. He must have absolutely no access to gold right now. And with that, I think that should be the good game if Tim does not have any gold. Obviously, CL is busy with his own defending himself. So how is Tim going to defend this against Champion?
Good question, right? I mean, against Champions, probably some archer type of unit would be good, but in this case, not gonna happen.
Yeah, all archers cost gold, and that's one thing the Frantic team does not have. What they do have is a big mass of Gabitos, though. Oh my gosh. Might be able to deny this castle. Doesn't look like it. Those Gabitos only have 30 health. They don't want to stand there with the Champions. Champions will take them down in 2 hits. No, 3 hits with the armor.
They can one-shot them, luckily, with some kiting. But still, the castle is up. Ironically, TheMax, who has been castle dropped a couple of minutes earlier, he's now dropping his own castle successfully in front of Tim's base. Now he's able to enter.
I just don't know how Tim is going to stop these barracks. He needs to somehow take out the barracks. He needs a siege workshop, and I always hate the situation where the farms take up all the space and I can't drop any siege workshops. I mean, I know you can just delete the farms, but I already made them, so who wants to do that? So Frantic's going to come down in south and help defend. Here comes more champions from the Max. We'll have to see how the Gabitos do. Obviously, they're lacking in upgrades. They're only Castle Age Gabitos. And even a few Gabitos coming out from the Max. Players kind of copying each other a little bit here. As we saw the Condottiere transition come in from Tim. Luckily, the Max was one step ahead, transition into champions. And now that we see Gabitos from the Max.
So yeah, Tim's base seems to be GG. And what about CL actually? I mean, he's now back again. His base is still alive there.
Yeah, CL's doing okay. CL has all the gold right now, so I'm guessing he's going to sling some to, or should be slinging some to Tim, so Tim can make some gunpowder. Again, this is just such a hard army composition to stop. You can't stop it with archers. You can't stop it with gunpowder because you can add the Condottiere back in there. Really, the best thing against the Malians might be cavalry, but even then, you know, the Malians have really good camels. So, yeah, the Malians are pretty broken. At least the Malians don't have great siege, although they do have siege onager. But, yeah, it's a strong civ to stop.
So there we go, Max is dropping another castle right in the middle of Tim's base.
Yeah, I think just the picture says 1,000 words, and castle going up in the middle of the base. No more villagers on these farms. All three town centers filled to the brim with villagers, and no army in sight. And I think this is pretty GG right here, as the Max researches Elite Gabito, and will now be sending his sights up to the north of the map. Villese still rebooming a little bit in the bottom, and should be back in this game at some point. A little bit of saving grace for the Frantic team. Imperial Age coming in. Maybe hoping that CL can mass enough Gabitos to be able to defend. Obviously, that might be the best way to defend against the Malians. But the Max has plenty of Gabitos on his own, so I don't know what the hope is here.
That's very true. I don't see any hope anymore. Right now, it seems to be pretty much over because Tim has lost all of his base. And yeah, now CL is actually the one who can, you know, attempt to do something here, but I don't think that he will be strong enough in order to fight off the Max now, especially because Villese is now inside of Max base, so to speak, trying to reboom again. Therefore, I guess the Max and Villese are too far ahead now.
Interestingly, Tim's still making a few Genoese crossbowmen out of his one castle, which really won't do a hell of a lot, even getting ballistics for them. But yeah, the Max should set his sights up towards the north. This has got to be at least the second or third time he's used the transport ship effectively, as the Max is building sneaky barracks up in the north, and none of these buildings have ever been noticed to be going up, and this is just great play from the Max.
Yeah, really well done.
Yeah, this is something that players should probably do more often on Nomad if they have a civ good at raiding, using transport ships and getting up sneaky barracks and docks. We see now the Max transitioning into cavalry, which will be better population space efficiency-wise. A cavalier has more damage potential than a champion. And yeah, this will make the Max's army even stronger. The only problem with that is they cost more gold, but it looks like the Max has plenty of gold to work with.
That's true, they have all the gold. While Tim is still thinking about this Genoese crossbowman thing. He goes for chemistry, therefore he still wants to commit into that. Maybe it's his own way to defend himself now, he thinks.
Gabito's moving north for the Max. And I don't know, I'm just waiting for the GG here. I think this game's pretty done.
Well, to be honest.
Elite Gabito coming in from CL. CL has 50 military out in the field. The Max is 85 military, so maybe if he gets a really lucky engagement, could potentially happen on the left. The thing is, Gabitos are pretty fast and they can avoid bad engagements. So I'm gonna have to see a few mistakes made from the Finnish team in order for CL to come back. And it looks like CL will take a good engagement on this north side at the very least. Army count's now 45 to 80. This still doesn't look too good. And maybe what the Max needs is just a little bit more siege to be able to close out this game. Guard tower even being done from the Max to take a little more map control. And even add more barracks on the south. Of course, there's this gold here, so that's a very important area of the map. A lot of resources in this area of the map, so I think players should be focusing more on that area. The Max kind of forgetting about his Gabitos a bit, and these Gabitos of CL a little bit on a rampage. Luckily, the Max did forget about the Gabitos on a hill, so I guess they'll be okay in the end. And the Villese going up to Imperial Age.
Yeah, he has finally managed to go Imperial Age. That's impressive. So I just want to see how much of an impact he will be able to have. He is going for those archery ranges, therefore we can see some more military action from him going on.
Well, theoretically, Villese should be the nail in the coffin. He's going to go crossbows right now, which is a fine choice against Gabitos. Playing against a player that only has 80 villagers, you don't worry about them diversifying their army so much. So crossbows should be... you know, all they need. And with that Imperial Age, I wouldn't even be surprised to see a GG, but I guess we'll wait for that. And Onager coming in for the Max. The Ethiopians, of course, get Siege Onager, although it's expensive, but regular Onagers would be devastating against Gabitos with only 45 HP.
That's true, that's true. One lucky Onager shot there, and it's over.
I would love to see an Onager shot. I have not yet seen a huge Onager shot on Gabitos, but I imagine it's spectacular.
Probably.
Here we go, the Max able to push off CL, and we should see crossbows coming out very shortly from Villese. There we go, Arbalest done. All the upgrades coming in for the Arbalest. And it looks like the Max has secured control of yet another gold on that right side as well. The Max making a big effort actually to control this hill. And even chopping away at some trees to better control the hill. We're going to see, this could be the fight of the game as a few crossbows are finally here from Villese. My bad, Arbalest. And, oh, there we go, there's the Onager shot! Oh, that wasn't as spectacular as I wanted, though. But either way, enough to push back CL. Zach saying MVP, Villese. Yeah, he's certainly been the MVP, he's certainly been battered on this entire game. And finally is able to make his impact. 1 hour, 9 minutes in the game. GG, as they see the strong army from Villese. What a great game, and a lot of back and forth. A lot of variety in this one. What do you think are some of the keys to this game?
Well, to be honest, I thought of this question. I was sure that you would ask again. And to be honest, there were so many things, so much back and forth. I'm not even very sure. I mean, the key thing maybe was that Villese survived in the end. I said it from the beginning. I said, no, how will Villese survive and whatnot? But he managed to do it, and maybe that was really crucial. Because then the Max had his teammates still being alive and could work for an awesome booming and comeback over there. And probably that was one of the keys.
The Frantic team doing a lot of damage with CL's early pressure onto Villese. Villese being able to just barely hold on. Of course, we had some support from the Max, and really better than the support, a great boom from the Max. Tim coming back with Knights of his own, doing a lot of damage onto Villese, and basically taking him out of the game. So then we kind of had like a 1 versus 1 between Tim and the Max. In which case the Tim nearly pushed into the Max's base, but those condottiers were just too strong. Tim made a bit of a mistake by investing so heavily into the Genoese crossbowmen and castles for them, and was pushed back from that. And then also the Max doing a lot of great raiding onto CL, and from there just not able to stop those condottiers quick enough. And the Max, you know, when there was an answer to that, started adding Gabitos as well. So staying one step ahead of the opponent, eventually Villese being able to reboom, and that brings us to the end of the game. Great game from the Max. I love his transport play as well. And I'm Nobody. This has been Dem Red Eyes, and let's go on to game 3.
Yes, sir.